Merry Christmas, friends, and this is Vicar Bryce here for this week's Midweek Check-In. Now, I don't know if the name John Newton sounds familiar to you, but I'm wondering if the hymn Amazing Grace does. Amazing Grace, one of the most popular hymns in all of Christian history. Well, as it turns out, John Newton himself wrote Amazing Grace, but before he wrote that hymn, he had a little bit of an interesting history, to say the least. Newton was once a captain of a slave ship that was a part of the transatlantic slave trade. And he had a stroke and that made him retire from the seas. And then years later, through some discernment, would go on to become an Anglican priest, of all things. And after becoming a priest, he wrote a pamphlet called Thoughts Upon the Transatlantic Slave Trade. And there's two main reasons that we believe he did this. One is personal confession, that him, a priest, an Anglican priest, also once had the capacity to be a part of one of world history's most dehumanizing processes. But two, he also wrote it as a part of advocacy to politicians to abolish the transatlantic slave trade. He had this awakening. He had both this mental and physical turning around from what he once was. He had this redemption experience. But also, he had an experience, I believe, of repentance. Now, repentance isn't just this one-time action of being sorry, but he both mentally, cognitively recognized that he was a part of something so dehumanizing, and he changed his behavior as a result of that. He turned towards those that he once dehumanized. In this Christmas season, that's what we do. We look to where the humble baby Jesus is amongst us, not just in history, but amongst us right now. What is it that we want to turn towards to make Christ's presence known in this Christmas season and in all of our seasons?